I'm now going to continue my video series on ACT mathematics with this little beauty. And this is a trick question, and I'll show you where the trick actually is. It says, using the Cartesian coordinate system, the graph of x plus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 25. Okay, you see that right there? Now that graph, if you drew it out, which we're going to draw it out right here, is going to be a circle. Here's the part where it's a trick. And I'll explain that in just a second. What is the circumference of this circle? Okay. So what's the trick here? Well, the trick is what you've got here is a right-angled triangle. And one of the three sides, which happens to be the hypotenuse in this case, is the actual radius of this circle. This is a unit circle. Do you remember me talking about that a long time ago? This is a unit circle. Here's the radius right here. The radius happens to be the hypotenuse of this right-angled triangle. This is one side of the right-angled triangle, which is right here. That. This is the other side of this right-angled triangle. Now, do you remember Euclid Book 1, proposition number 47, which is known as the Pythagorean theorem? Okay. So x plus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared is going to equal that radius. So 25 here is actually going to be, it's actually going to lead you to the radius. Now you say, well, wait a minute. 25 isn't the radius of that triangle. You're absolutely right. The square root of 25 is the radius of this triangle. Allow me to prove that. Okay. Let's say that x is 0 because you're going to have a coordinate here of 0 and 3. Okay, you have 0, 0 and 0, 3. Or actually 3, 0. Sorry. Try that again. You have 0, 0, and 3, 0. That's your two coordinates. You remember how we have x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1 type thing? Okay, so x plus 3, this is going to be 3. We're going to have x is 0, 0 plus 3 is 3. So the length of this is now 3. Okay, same type of deal here. We're going to make y 0. So 0 plus 4, of course, now is 4. Okay. So, if we square 3, that's going to be 9. If we square 4, that's going to be 16. Well, 16 plus what is 16 plus 9 is what? Let me say that again. 16 plus 9 is what? And that is actually 25. Now, if you square root 25, you're going to get 5. Okay. So now we know the radius of the circle. The radius of the circle is now 5. That's your radius. Now, how do you figure circumference? Well, the circumference of a circle is written down in a formula, and it's right down here. It's 2 pi r. Well, obviously, if we know the equation, we already know about the 2, we already know about the pi. So the only thing we're missing at this point is the radius. What's the radius of this circle? 5. 2 pi r, it's the actual answer that you're going to give them is, well, actually, it would be 2 pi 5. Now, if you wanted to get a little more technical with that, you could multiply the 5 and the 2 together, and you'd have 10 pi. There's your answer. So there it is, people. Now you say, well, you have this multiple choice on ACT. Well, you'll either find 2 pi 5, or you'll find 10 pi somewhere, or something that represents that. Either way, that's your answer. Alright, so, you say, well, what's the trick of all this? Well, what they're hoping you'll do is make the mistake of trying to use the FOIL method to solve all this. Do not use the FOIL method to solve either one of these. Forget the FOIL method. You don't need it. All you're going to need is that number right there. You're going to square root it, and then you'll put it in this. You see? There's the trick. So I'm going to say this one more time, just to make sure you understand this. They're hoping you'll make the mistake of using the FOIL method to try to solve this and to try to solve that. Do not use the FOIL method to solve any of this. Focus instead on this number and square rooting that and then planning that into the 2 pi r equation. Once you do that, you've got the right answer. And you don't have to use the FOIL method at all to solve this. Alright. Hopefully you won't fall for that diabolical trick. Because I actually, when I saw this question, that was the first thing I tried to do, and I'll tell you what, that was stupid. I'm glad I didn't actually take the actual test, because if I did, I'd have made a horrible mistake. So don't you fall for this. You do it the way I'm telling you. Alright. I will tell you more in a future video, so I want you to stay tuned.